Hello, for the 14th week of the year, using only the Gospel, Matthew 11:25 to 30. Thinking about Lawrence of Arabia, not because of my name, but that movie. Lawrence of Arabia, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen, for me. Way back, I think it came out in 1962. But at any rate, it was the story of Lawrence of Arabia, T.E. Lawrence, an English officer who successfully united and led diverse groups after warring Arab tribes in World War II in order to fight the Turks. But at any rate, it was a great movie, Oscar. And the bottom line theme, at least that I wanted to talk about Lawrence of Arabia in particular, he was astonished by the things his Bedouin companions noticed in the desert. He saw only a bleak expanse of sand, that desert. And he saw not what the Bedouins saw. They saw animal tracks, small plants, evidences of water, places to hide from the sun. You know, they could even squint. They could even squint into the noontime glare of the sun and spot the approaching fellow travelers or opposing enemies. They knew the desert patterns, the season changes, sandstorms, abundance of life-giving dew. According to Lawrence of Arabia, the desert was a mother to the Bedouins, and he never ceased to be amazed at all that they understood and knew and took from it. My point is, Jesus was something like those Bedouins who knew the desert. Jesus looked deeply at the poor. Jesus looked deeply at little children. Jesus looked at the scribes and the Pharisees. Jesus looked deeply into life, the poor. The poor had no money or influence or power to put their trust in. They only had God. God was their hope or their help or their plea, and they would turn to and ask God for help. Jesus looked into the poor and said, right on. Small children. Small children are so vulnerable, so dependent upon or dependent upon mom or dad or any adult, even big brother, big sister. Why, they would jump into the hands of anyone, trusting that they would be caught. They believed in the other person. Little children, so good, so beautiful, so tender. Jesus looked at the scribes and the Pharisees, those learned ones, the educated scribes. Well, they could make contracts, they could make money, they were held in high esteem. They didn't need other people. Other people needed them. The religious leaders, the Pharisees, well, they had all the answers. They would told other people what to do, how to act, and who was good or evil, who was holy or not holy at all. The scribes and the Pharisees. Jesus looked into these people also. My point is, Jesus is very much like those Bedouins in the desert. He could see into and make out what most people around him could not see or understand. Well, look at the stories he told, the insightful stories. The prodigal son, or some call it the forgiving father. The widow's mite, the one who put in her last penny into the treasury in the temple. The good Samaritan, who got off his mount and doctored the wounds and paid for anything extra, if needed, to the innkeeper. The poor woman or widow of Nain just lost her only son, and she and the group of people from the city was carrying him out for burial. He could see into that woman's heart. Not just people he didn't know, but his good friends, Martha and Mary, of their hurt, of the death of their brother, Jesus' own friend, Lazarus. Jesus was very much like those Bedouins who could see around him into what was around him. Well, that sight, or those insights, or that way of living, or his way of living, is very productive if we take it on somewhat. We're able to take on his sight or his insight. We have new insight, new life, new sight, new ways of living. All of this, thank God, Jesus was like those Bedouins. I know what Lawrence of Arabia thought of those people. What do you think about that person, Jesus Christ, as he looks into life and tries to inspire us, give us new, deeper insights? Have a good day.